everyone. I'm going to tell you a traditional tale today, and I'm going to tell it in a traditional way. Can you remember what that means? It means I won't have the book, and I'm just remembering the story in my head and telling you the story. So sometimes the story changes a little bit, doesn't it? It's not always exactly the same. And Neil's going to listen, I think. Hopefully he'll not keep begging me for strokes. Let's see. You lie down, good boy. Once upon a time, at the edge of the wood, there lived a woman and her daughter. And her daughter was known as Little Red Riding Hood because everywhere she went, she wore a red coat with a hood, and everybody called her Little Red. Now, one day, Mummy got a phone call. Brr, brr. Hello, said Mummy. Who is it? It's Grandma. And Grandma was not very well, and she wasn't feeling so well. So Mummy had said, you better stay in bed, Grandma. I'll send Little Red Riding Hood round with some goodies to make you feel better, and she'll see you soon. So she put the phone down and she collected a basket together with Little Red Riding Hood, and in it they put some wine, because Grandma liked wine, a magazine, some cakes, and what else might they put in a basket for Grandma? What would you like to get if you weren't feeling so well? Maybe a nice comfy cushion. So Little Red Riding Hood packed the basket, and just as she was ready to go and set off to through the woods to Grandma's house, Mummy said, now wait a minute, there are 2 rules. It's really important that you follow the rules. Number 1, you must never, ever, ever leave the path. The path through the wood is the only way you're allowed to go. And number 2, and this one's the most important one, you must never talk to strangers. Now, Little Red Riding Hood knew these rules, and she said, yes, Mummy, I promise. And she set off out the door, down the path and into the woods with her basket. Well, she hadn't gone very far when she noticed over the other side, past a couple of trees, there were some beautiful flowers growing, and she thought, oh, my Grandma will love the flowers. I will go and pick the flowers. And she skipped off the path to go to the flowers, and she began to pick a little bunch of flowers for Grandma. Well, what's a mistake? Already there's something gone wrong, isn't there? Anyway, as she was picking the flowers, from round a tree was peeping the big bad wolf. And he thought, yum, 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 I'm going to eat this girl up for my lunch. And he came out and he said, oh, hello, who are you? And she said, oh, I'm Little Red Riding Hood, and I'm going to my Grandma's, and I've got my basket with some wine and a magazine and a comfy cushion and some cakes, and I'm going to take them to Grandma. I'm picking these flowers, and then I'm going straight to her cottage. It's just at the other side of the woods. Oh, said the wolf. Brilliant. I'll see you later. And he scampered off. Well, Little Red Riding Hood didn't think anything of that. She just went back on the path and set off through the woods. But the big bad wolf had made a cunning plan. He decided that if he was quick enough, he could go the shortcut and he would get to eat Little Red Riding Hood and her Grandma if he got it right. And he whizzed to Grandma's cottage at the other side of the wood, because Little Red Riding Hood had told him that's where it was. And he knocked at the door. And he said, hello, it's Little Red Riding Hood. Can I come in? And Grandma said, yeah, come in. I'm just in bed. Come and see me. And the big bad wolf opened the door and he sprang onto the bed and gobbled her up. That was the end of Grandma. And he put on her sleeping hat and her glasses, and he combed his hair, and he cuddled down in the bed and peeped out the covers, thinking, right, oh, soon Little Red Riding Hood's going to come and she's going to be so juicy. I can't wait. He waited and he waited, and soon there was a knock at the door. Who is it? Who is it? Said the wolf. It's just me, Little Red Riding Hood, said Red Riding Hood. Oh, come in, my dear, said the wolf, pretending to be Grandma. And in came Little Red Riding Hood, and she came right up to the bed and she said, oh, Grandma, I've got some lovely things for you in the basket. And then she went, oh, Grandma. And she looked carefully at Grandma and she said, Grandma, what big eyes you've got. All the better to see you with, my dear, said the big bad wolf. Oh, but Grandma, what big ears you've got, said Little Red Riding Hood, starting to feel a little bit nervous. "All the better to hear you with, my dear," said the big bad wolf. "But Grandma, what big teeth you've got," said Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to eat you up," said the big bad wolf, and he jumped out of bed and Little Red Riding Hood ran and ran and ran. And the big bad wolf was chasing her, but as she reached the door, she saw the woodcutter passing and shouted, "Help, help!" And he came with his big axe and chop! It was the end of the wolf. He carefully split open the wolf's tummy, and guess who was inside? Grandma. Grandma went back into the cottage and got into her bed. Little Red Riding Hood phoned her mummy, and she came round, and together they all shared the wine and the cake, and they read the magazine, and they lived happily ever after. Traditional tales usually end with happily ever after, don't they? But we know that not always everybody lives happily ever after. Who didn't live happily ever after in that story? There's somebody, isn't there?